All right, we're recording. So five,
Okay.
4, 3. Peak Marketers, this is Bill Guthrie, and I'm excited to welcome our featured guest, Mark Thompson. Mark is the CEO of Digital Kickstart, a leading digital publishing and software development company. He boasts over 40,000 customers, $15 million in sales, and has a recognition of providing some of the top products and services in the marketing industry. Mark, are you there?
I'm here. Thank you, Bill. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, let's start off, man. Help us get to know Mark Thompson, the person, and tell us a little bit about your business.
Yeah, sure. Well, so I first started actually in the offline world. I used to do a lot in client services. So I would help with SEO, pay-per-click, social media campaigns for local businesses. And that's really how I got my start in internet marketing. I mean, I went to school for marketing, but they didn't have, an internet marketing degree. So like most of us internet entrepreneurs, we kind of fell into what we do today. And I was kind of no different. And so I worked for a few different marketing agencies before I went off on my own. And I was able to kind of learn the ropes on the job, and had a whole bunch of other people that kind of knew more than I did. And it was great because I got to learn from them. So I learned how to, rank websites and how to create AdWords campaigns. And there really wasn't Facebook ads when I, first started, but
Right.
I got to learn really the foundation of how to drive traffic, how to make an offer convert. Actually, I really didn't even work with product creation or conversion and all that kind of stuff. It was mainly SEO and social media, how to manage a Twitter account and Facebook fan page and that kind of stuff. And I did that for about 5 years. And I was planning on I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be my own boss. But it took me a while to get to that point. I actually got fired from my last job, and it was a blessing in disguise because it kind of gave me that kick in the butt that we all need. And I got fired, and I kind of had one foot out the door anyways. And I went and started doing the client service stuff on my own, and just really all the stuff that I had known how to do over the last 5 years of being in the trenches. And so I started doing that on my own, and I found this whole other side of internet marketing, which was product creation, affiliate marketing, how to build a list, and I just became so infatuated with it that I devoted about 50% of my time towards just learning that side of the business, how to create a product, a training product, and that kind of rolled into software. But I didn't make that transition overnight, which I think is really, really important to know for people that are listening, is that, I still had revenue coming in. I was smart about how I went about it. Like, I still had certain clients that I was doing marketing campaigns for while I was learning this whole new side of the business. And I was just like, man, look at all these people generating $100,000 in a week. And I'm like, man, the stuff that they're putting out there is not like, I can do this. It's not that hard. I mean, so I started learning the value of creating an email list and being able to send one email and generating, $1,000. And I'm like, oh my God, how is that possible? I'll sit here with a client for an entire month, spend an enormous amount of time with my clients, and not even make that.
Right.
So I slowly started to make that transition, and I started dabbling and creating a few of my own products. And I actually found a mentor to help me during that journey of trying to figure out how this whole product creation affiliate marketing space works. And that's really when things really changed my life. So that's kind of the long and the short of it, is that I started in the offline world, and now over the last about 3 or 4 years, I've been just knee deep in product creation, specifically software. And as we release more software, that's also building a list of buyers of which we can then promote other products internally, or we can promote other people's products as an affiliate. And so we've been doing that for the last 3 or 4 years, and we've scaled up, and I really haven't looked back since.
Well, and you speak about mentors. It can be so key. If you can identify someone and say, that's where I want to be, or they have a business that I, really love, how do I get that business? I mean, a lot of times it's not easy to get the right mentor, and you can kind of make a lot of mistakes, but it sounds like you had, good luck in that side.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that people do, or reasons that they fail in this market, is that they don't have that person to lean on. They try to do everything themselves, and they try. I mean, what people don't realize is there's so many different elements in being successful online. There's the product side of things, there's the marketing side of things, and then there's also the relationship side of things, which is one of the biggest things that I hold like every single day, regardless of how big my business gets. I always try to put a lot of time and effort and energy into maintaining and building new relationships with other people in the market. And so regardless of if you're, a brick and mortar store or if you're an online business, the old adage of it's about who you know really holds true. And so that's why I leaned on a mentor. And really it only took one mentor to really get my foot in the door and, be introduced to affiliates and other people in the space and kind of attach myself with their existing credibility in the marketplace.
Yeah. Well, you've had so much success, and I mean, we've known each other for a few years, but
yeah.
If you could look back, what was like a big stumbling block or a challenge or hurdle that that either experienced or that you identified was going to be a limiting factor for you, and how did you overcome that?
Well, I didn't start building an email list from day one, which I wish I did. And I didn't understand the true value of having an email list. So, I mean, even if it's only 50 people or 100 people on your list, that's still a lot of potential long term. I mean, you can extract, tens of thousands of dollars from just a small list, and people don't realize that, or they don't understand the value of it. So that was kind of step one, just how can I get people onto my list? I didn't really think that way. And then the other thing was, if I want to be able to work with someone else who is already established in the space, you need to have something of value to offer them, And so I was like, and so what I did was I created a piece of software, and I didn't know what I was doing at the time. I knew that, I kind of just watched the marketplace, and I saw some WordPress plugins were really hot when I first started. And I started to learn about how to build an email list. And so I found, if you guys know who Jeremy Shoemaker is, he's been around for a while, and he had this, him and Frank Kern, they always talked about this thing called the Good Karma List Machine. And there was this thing where, if you opt in to a squeeze page and some sort of a free offer, you go to a thank you page, and then on the thank you page, it says, hey, go and share this with your friends. And for every referral that you get, you can earn additional bonus, whatever it may be, a free product or additional content. And I was like, man, this is a really cool idea. And the problem was that you needed to have a developer to implement this thing, and it was really, really hard if you didn't know what you were doing. And so I was like, oh, why can't we take this concept and make a WordPress plugin to make it really simple to use? And so that's what I did. And I created List Eruption, the version 1 at the time. And I at the time, I probably invested way too much money into it. I took like my life savings to build this piece of software. And I hired this company that, the same company that created Pop-Up Domination, which if you've heard of Pop-Up Domination, that's been around for a while. And I was like, man, I love the product. And I was like, I need to find out who developed this. And so I contacted them, and I probably paid a little too much because they were pretty popular at the time. But I knew that I would get a product done the right way, and I had no technical experience. And I knew if I had this product that I could go out to somebody else and say, hey, I have this product that's ready to go. Would you help me launch it and introduce me to affiliates and stuff? And that's really what I did. And that's kind of how I got my big break. And that, to me, that's one of the struggles that people have, to answer your question, is having that hook to get you into the door, into the marketplace. And it's amazing how fast people can move up in the space with just, one product or one promotion.
I love how you told that story, Mark, because you hit upon something that's really significant. We are constantly reminded of bringing value, right? So you want to bring value to a relationship. If you want to connect with Mark and get Mark's attention, you can't just say, "Hey, man, let's work together." I mean, you have to bring something of value. And a lot of times we think, "Oh, well, how about I offer him a bonus for his product? I'll get it." And I love how you just said, "No, I brought a product and was willing to split the profits, literally willing to put money into someone's pocket if they would only pay attention to me." And let me tell you from experience, that will get someone's attention.
Sure.
Guys like me and Mark and other people in the market, we're eager for quality products that we can have a little bit of control over, that we can, kind of massage if needed. And that's a really great way of putting it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess one mistake that I did make was I invested too much into my first product. I mean, it's important to start small and kind of learn your way around things. That's why, like I probably I should have started with more like training programs, because those are a little bit easier to make instead of investing all this money into developers and designers and all that kind of stuff. But lesson learned over time. I mean, that's what helped me to get to where I am today. So.
Well, what has been your single greatest business achievement? When you look at where you're at right now, it could be a single day, it could be a product, it could be, what is that what sticks out in your mind?
There's actually two. There's two big like milestones where I was like, holy cow, like this has radically changed my life. The first one was what I just told you about, the first launch of List Eruption back 3-4 years ago, whatever it was now. We were able to do a 6-figure launch. And I mean, to me, I didn't care if I got like $10 of it. I was like, oh my God, this is fantastic. Like we just generated, 4,000 people to this list. And I mean, it was mind blowing. I'm like, holy cow. It's like showing my wife and I'm like, oh my God, it's amazing that this could actually happen. And so, from that, from that moment I was hooked. And so that was kind of the first one. And then actually the second one was just happened a few months ago, which was the release of our Easy VSL launch, which was a 7-figure launch. And looking back at the first launch and looking back at that launch, I mean, it's funny just to see the progression and the evolution of things, not only from the product side of things, but from the marketing side, from bringing on new affiliates and all that kind of stuff that goes into it. And it's so much more involved and in depth to get to that point, but there's stepping stones along the way. And so those were kind of the two big like aha moments, like, man, this is awesome.
So now you're looking at that 8-figure launch, right? I mean, you got to get to that next thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten a lot harder. I mean, we've learned, at least along the last year, how to refine our systems, how to scale out. We've been able to juggle a lot more projects now. Like when I first started, I'd focus on one project and that's it, right? Now we juggle anywhere between like 5 and 10 projects at a time. And we try to balance short-term and long-term revenue. We have long-term pieces of software that have been around, or we've been creating for the last year or two. And there's other projects that may last for a month or two. We just want to get them out the door. They're just small little apps to help generate revenue. And so we're trying to do that balance where there's always revenue coming into the business, and we're not, trying to cripple the business and say, okay, let's just take a long shot on this one product and we'll invest all this money into it. And if it doesn't do well and it flops, then what do? You have nothing to kind of fall back on,
Right. Yeah. Well, marketing is about presenting the right offer to the right people at the right time. So now it's time for you to share some of your secrets with the Peak Marketer family. Mark, what is your favorite traffic source?
My favorite is email by far. I mean, it's instant, whether it's my own list or an affiliate's list. So that's where I spend 75% of my time and energy into email traffic.
It's growing a list. And do you do any opt-ins, lead gen that is not involved with a purchase?
We do. Yeah, we do. So we do some Facebook ads. We also will put in some bonuses on the back end of other people's offers. As we start to release more products, people know who we are now, and they're more apt to say, "Oh, sure, I'll throw a bonus into the back end, like the membership area of someone else's product." And so, but what we try to do, and what a lot of people they know, like, oh, if I could just put a bonus banner into their members area, I can get some leads. But try to take it one step further. We always try to create custom bonuses for whatever the product is, which a lot of people don't do. They go and they'll grab a piece of PLR content and they'll slap it up and say, here's my bonus, right? And we've never wanted to go that direction. We'll either give them one of our products for free, or we'll create a custom report that relates to the offer. And so we build a list that way as well.
Great. What is your most effective sales funnel tactic?
Sales funnel tactics. So because we do a lot with software, one of the things we love to do is offer a one-time purchase on the front end. So we usually do, depending on the application, it could be we found like $27 to $47 has been a sweet spot on the front end, and then we'll upsell them. The first one-time offer within the back end of our sales funnel is usually something with additional features or like developer rights, because what we've seen with our customers is that about 30 to 50% of them actually work with clients, or they're an agency, and so they're going to want to use it for their client work. And so that offer always does really, really well. And about 95% of our software products, the first one-time offer is we'll grab the agency license or grab the developer rights, or and we always try to bundle it with stuff. Like you can get the developer rights, but then you can also get additional templates or additional whatever it may be. So we're always adding some value in on that, not just say, hey, like here's the developer license.
Right.
And so we do that. And the biggest thing recently has been just being able to take the products that we've already built and putting them in on the back end. Like, so it's no additional work. We've just continued to add features and just present it in a different way. Like maybe it's a different price point, or now that it's in on the back end of our offer, we already know that they're buyers and they're much more likely to buy again from us. And so we'll just take those existing products that we have and present them as a one-time offer.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You're talking about how you have a lot of products and projects in the works. How do you go about getting ideas for new projects?
A few different things. I mean, one could just be, hey, we need something like this in our own business. Hopefully someone else needs it. So that's been one direction. But, we just keep our finger on the pulse. What's selling? And the thing I tell everybody is never reinvent the wheel. There's absolutely no reason to try to create a product that is completely unique to your marketplace. If there is, there's probably a reason for it. So it's important to create something that that has already been proven to sell, that people are willing to buy, but just improve on it, make it your own, make it unique. Take an existing concept that works and just improve on it and make it better.
Yeah, I find that if you want to do software, it's taking something that's already manual and seeing if you can automate it, or information and taking it into a software, or software and taking it back. So there's this flow of information and knowledge and almost like the mechanics of doing something, and those go back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a few things. It's either what you just said about being able to automate, so saving time for somebody, right? The other thing would be just a feature set, right? Like saying, okay, well, this one has all these features, but we have all those plus additional ones. And then the third one would be a price, right? Like we created a webinar software, and our main hook was, well, you can go and pay $500 a month for GoToWebinar, which it's a good product. There's nothing wrong with it. But for 95% of people, you're not a large enterprise level company that can afford to pay $500 a month. So, hey, we built out a solution that has similar services, but it's catered for a different marketplace. It's catered for a small to medium-sized business.
Yeah, that's great. What is, in your opinion, what is something that every marketer needs to know how to do well?
Well, it can be a loaded question, because a lot of people feel like they need to learn how to do everything, and you don't. You need to focus. And so when you first start, it's hard, because there's that learning curve of like, okay, well, I don't have a lot of money to invest into all of these different people to build your own team. And so it's, at least the foundational things are how to build out a profitable sales funnel, finding out what people want in the marketplace, right? And then figuring out how to give that to them. And so I wouldn't recommend, if you're a marketer or you don't have any technical expertise, to go out and try to figure out how to develop or design. I mean, there's plenty of talented people out there, and we hire people from all over the world that will work for very cheap. You don't need to pay $125 an hour like it used to be back, like when I worked for the agencies and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to do that. You just need to know how to find the right type of people. So start small, build a profitable sales funnel, learn how to build an email list, and start making connections from day one. Just meet as many people as you can, because you never know when an opportunity is going to present itself. And that's one thing that I do all the time, is I try to just see like who's on the leaderboards, who's new to the marketplace that's making an impact. and I'll go and I'll just introduce myself. And you don't know what that might turn into down the road.
All right, welcome back to the Hot 5 round. We're looking for quick answers to these juicy questions, Mark. What is the one thing you do every day that makes you money?
Mail my email list.
Yep. Where is the biggest potential for growth, in your opinion, in our market?
For growth, oh man, there's so many different spots. God, well, building your email list, monetizing your funnels more. Like building out deeper funnels and having a balance between small, like low ticket and high ticket products.
Great. What is a software or app that you could recommend to our listeners? Something that either saves you time or keeps you organized, or
just anything, or one of my products?
I mean, it can be whatever.
Well, I mean, we use Basecamp for managing our projects. We use Skype religiously for managing our team. We use something called Hubstaff for managing time tracking for all of our outsource workers. So they're making sure that they're getting things done properly and in a timely manner. We've created something called Press Play, which is our customizable video player, which is great for you can do opt-in overlays for building your list. We use ClickFunnels and Optimize Press to build out our pages. So that's those. I mean, we don't use a ton of tools and software. We use the ones that are specific to our business that get things done. I mean, awesome. People get hung up on tools. I hate that.
Yeah, that's awesome. What is your favorite song lyric?
Oh my God. I don't know if I can say it. No, I'm just kidding. God. I don't know. I was just listening to Fast Car, if you know, like a Tracy Chapman song.
Okay.
So that's. I was just listening to that before this. So.
All right, we'll just leave it at that. What book do you recommend to our listeners? Do you have either a business book or a motivational, inspirational book that's connected with you you'd like to share?
Well, actually, the Launch. It's called Launch by Jeff Walker. He's kind of the launch king. He came out that book a few months ago now. And I read it, and obviously because I do a lot of product launches, it was very, very relevant to me. And he's kind of the godfather of how to do a proper formal product launch. And so that was a really good book.
Great.
Yep.
Okay, so we're back, and we have our bonus question. Mark, if you had to start all over, and all you had was a laptop, $1,000, and you knew everything that you know right now, how would you go about making money in 30 days?
I would find someone that I can leverage that already is in the space, because that's going to be your fastest way to get from point A to point B, and figure out how you can build your list with that person. So whatever, even if you have to say, hey, I'll give you 100% of all the money that I make from my list for 6 months or whatever it is, but if you can just say, hey, show me what you're doing, or let me build my credibility alongside you. I'll work for you. I'll do whatever I need to do. That's the fastest way, at least for me, to kind of get into the mix, start to build your list, and then from there you can start to monetize that list, build products, and do all that kind of stuff. Awesome.
Do you have any parting thoughts for the Peak Marketer family, and how can listeners connect with you?
So you can connect with me at digitalkickstart.com. That's my main website, and it has all of our products and programs and all that kind of stuff. So feel free to check that out. Some final thoughts are, don't get too hung up on information overload, which many people do, and I did that for a number of years. Like as I was learning the industry, I'm like, man, I need to get this course, and I need to get this piece of software, I need to do this and this, and before you know it, you've spent a year or however long it's been, and you have nothing to show for it. And for me, it's like now the way I look at it is, okay, how fast can I get a product to market to customers that want it the fastest, but obviously with quality and all that kind of stuff that goes along with it. So don't get hung up on all that stuff. Figure out, start small and focus on the basics. Build your email list, build your relationships, and then figure out how you can build a product or program around your passions and what other people want in your marketplace.
Mark, thank you so much, man. That is inspiring. I love it. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. We'll see you next time, Peak Marketers.
Thanks, Bill.